House Oversight Chair James Comer wants to subpoena Biden family members. Roll tape.
This is always going to end with the Bidens coming in front of the committee. We are going to subpoena the family. I mean, we're putting the case together to win in court. Obviously, with all the opposition and obstruction we're getting from the Biden attorneys now, we know that this is going to end up in court when we subpoena the Biden. So we're putting together a case, and I think we've done that very well.
All right, let's bring in Newt Gingrich. He is the author of the new book, March to the Majority. Newt joins me now. Would these subpoenas be another big step forward towards an impeachment inquiry?
Well, it'll be a step, but I think that it's important to recognize first that if they can get Hunter Biden in front of the committee, virtually all of his answers are going to be pleading the Fifth Amendment. That may educate the country that it certainly implies self-incrimination, although the Fifth Amendment is designed to protect you from being forced to incriminate yourself. But I suspect his attorney will say on almost every question, take the Fifth. I think second, there are a number of questions, and Chairman Comer's done a very good job of moving in the right direction. So have the Judiciary Committee and the Ways and Means Committee. We know much more today than we did 2 or 3 months ago. But I'll just give you one example. There's a phone call from Dubai that is listed as to a D.C. source. We don't know what it is. There is a phone which apparently was paid for by Hunter Biden's company, which Joe Biden was using outside of Secret Service and other White House records. There is evidence that Biden went to Kyiv to give a speech specifically threatening $1 billion of taxpayer money if the Ukrainians did not fire the prosecutor who was looking into Burisma, the company that had hired Hunter Biden. Now, that's not about building the brand. That's straight out bribery. Yeah. But we need to subpoena the telephone. We need to subpoena the records of the people who were actually in Dubai. We need to subpoena the speechwriters' scripts to find out when did they add the attack to the speech in Kyiv, and when was this part of it. But frankly, there's an example where Joe Biden, using the power of the vice presidency, using your tax money, threatening $1 billion in aid to Ukraine, is directly helping his son's company. Now, that's a potentially straight-out bribery, which is one of the Constitution's examples of the legitimacy of impeachment. So the Constitution mentions bribery. I think that all has to be subpoenaed. It all has to be reviewed, and we need to get it out in the open. Then we need to bring them in when we have absolute evidence, and they can't just bob and weave, but they're faced with the reality of their criminal acts.
I want to ask you about Donald Trump's language. He's been out on the trail. He had some extremely harsh words for the president. He says Biden has the IQ of a first grader. He also called him, he was mad, stark raving lunatic. Do you think that kind of language works with American voters at this point?
No. I think that President Trump's got enormous strengths, but his occasional off-the-cuff attacks aren't part of those strengths. I think he'd be much better off to elevate the campaign to a serious choice for the American people. Now, this most recent example, where Biden has approved giving the Iranian dictatorship $6 billion in order to get 5 Americans released, that would be a good, legitimate fight, because Trump got hostages released without ever paying the people holding them hostage. And there's a clear contrast. I think Trump's much better off to elevate his campaign and not just rely on the kind of off-the-cuff language that he's used also, for example, against Chris Christie. These kind of nasty personal attacks may feel good to Trump partisans, but they alienate the independent voters that Trump is going to need to win a general election.
At this point, it looks like Trump's running away with the nomination. Is it a bit premature to say that?
No, I think, when you have the kind of lead he has, you are almost the presumptive nominee. And if he gets through New Hampshire, Iowa, Nevada, and South Carolina, this race could be over by early March. And he would then be able to spend all the rest of the year drawing a sharp contrast with the failures of the Biden administration. But I think the more he does that, on policy grounds and on the quality of life of the American people. And the less he does it with these kind of personal attacks, the stronger he will be.
Newt Gingrich, I know you'd probably like to comment on red shoes from Christian Louboutins shoes. I know you were laughing when I was doing that.
I listened to that.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but laughing.
What do you know about red shoes?
No, I know. Listen, well, when Callisto was ambassador to the Vatican, we'd go out walking, and there was a Louboutin store that we walked past, and you'd see the red shoes. That's the only reason I know anything about this.
Doesn't the Pope wear red shoes as well, Newt?
He does, but they're not on the bottoms. Louboutins are on the bottom.
Oh, okay. You offer such clarity, Newt. You really do. That's superb stuff. Newt Gingrich, everyone. Fond of knowledge. Thanks, Newt.
Thank you.
See you again very soon, I do hope.